Hey Jude.
I don't think Paul had that in mind. Thank you. Hey Jude. I don't think he had a shotgun blast in mind.
No?
Yeah. He's like, Julian, I wrote this song for you. He's like,
I wrote a song. Do that. How do you? I don't know how to do that. That accent you do. You know what you are, Dave? You're an idiot savant. Listen, guys, we are in a different room, as you can tell. Here we are at episode 11. We've had 10 episodes, which were looking phenomenal, I gotta tell you. And now we're here at episode 11, and we've decided to start having guests. And today we have a very special guest. But before we get to all that, I want you guys to make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell on YouTube so you know when a new episode is coming. Make sure you leave a rate and review us on all the audio podcasts.
Please.
Make sure you leave us a 5-star rating, even though you hate it. Leave a 5-star rating, lie to us, and write a review. Make it wonderful. And if it's funny, even if it's mean, sometimes, maybe we'll read the review here on the podcast, and you can laugh again at us like you did the first time. If you want to send us any questions, stories, any kind of crazy stuff, you could always do that at unidenticalpod@gmail.com. That's unidenticalpod@gmail.com. And another thing that I really wanted to announce today that I'm excited about. I love horns. I'm just kidding. We have merch. Our merch is ready. Go to unidenticalpod.com, hit the shop button, and go shopping. We got t-shirts. We got hats. We got stuff. What do you got?
All kinds of stuff.
Hang
gliders.
We don't have hang gliders. We have hoodies. Anything
Patio
else?
sets.
We don't have patio sets. Anything else?
We do have socks.
We have socks.
No, that's
do we have koozies and thermoses and anything like that? I know we got hats.
I think there's a tumbler on there.
We got a tumbler. I don't even know what the fuck a tumbler is. What is a tumbler?
The ones that you can put stickers on them.
It was very important. It's been a long time coming. I know a lot of you guys were asking for merch, and we were taking our time. I don't know why we were lazy. But now it's up. It's ready for you to purchase and wear. So there it is. There's our merch. Look at that. Look at all that stuff. Oh, there's a coffee bullshit, whatever that thing is called. What is it? That's a tumbler. Oh, that's a tumbler.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Why did I think
insulated tumbler, 22 ounces?
Why did I think a tumbler was like a glass, like a little
gymnast?
Yeah, we got Mary Lou Retton is on the site for sale. No. So yeah, just wanted to announce that. And please get your stuff, rock it, send us pictures of you in it. And that would be greatly appreciated. Hey, David, you want to do a podcast?
Yes.
Let's go.
All right.
Unidentical.
All right, here we are, episode 11. Right? First episode with a guest. We have an amazing guest, a good buddy of ours. Yes. You may have seen him recently on your local news channel here in Los Angeles. What was it? Fox. He was interviewed. He is a retired. Can I say retired? Former LA sheriff's deputy.
That's right.
See, here I learned that at an older age. I learned this. You're not a sheriff. You're a sheriff's deputy.
That's correct.
Like when you see the guy, look at that sheriff over there. He's not the sheriff. He's just the deputy of the sheriff.
There's one sheriff.
There's one sheriff.
Yeah.
There's a new sheriff in town.
I was thinking the same thing. All I heard was like the canteen doors. Sheriff.
What was his name in 48 Hours? Reggie Hammond. There's a new sheriff in town.
Oh, yeah.
And his name is Reggie Hammond. That's from 48 Hours, Eddie Murphy, whatever. I'm old. I don't care. But we have you on. And usually we're pretty lighthearted on this podcast. We have a good time. Today we're going to talk about some serious issues. I'm going to probably make fun of you a little bit, but I don't care. But we got some serious issues we're going to talk about. And I want to talk about this because I've covered this before on other podcasts. And I think it's a very important thing to talk about because it's rampant in my industry, entertainment. And it's definitely rampant in the law enforcement industry and firefighters is mental illness and anxiety and depression.
Before you start, you didn't actually introduce him.
I'm going to.
Oh, okay. Because
Solomon.
I didn't hear his name. You said Reggie.
Ladies and gentlemen, super producer Solomon. It's Daniel Solomon.
Solomon Daniels.
Solomon Daniels. Whatever. You have two first names.
Yeah.
But thank you, Solomon.
Yoda would say it like you said.
Real quick, let me mention the podcast place, by the way. If you guys, I want to give props to the podcast place in Long Beach, California on every episode. If you want a quality podcast done right, come do your podcast here at the podcast place in Long Beach, California. All right. So mental depression, I don't know if you'd call it a mental illness or whatever, but it runs rampant in many industries. And one of the things that we hope for if we have that situation is help, is quality help. So our guest today is Mr. Saren Prime. That's his real name, by the way. Saren Prime, not related to Optimus.
Well,
Distant cousins.
yeah.
Oh, you guys are distant cousins?
Distant cousins.
You can't get a deal on Amazon from him. It's not going to happen. But
Because you tried.
But what you can get is you can get some quality self-defense lessons. Probably you can get. He's obviously really heavily into children's clothing, as you could tell by the shirt that he's wearing, and so he may have some hookups on that. But what's up, man?
Good. Okay.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
That
Thank
was
you.
jealousy as well.
Absolutely,
Oh,
I'm jealous. I mean, it's obvious that me and Soren are on the same workout program.
Yeah,
right?
we
obvious. Obvious. It's like so.
totally
People are always like,
obvious.
"Oh, that's where Jason gets ripped from." Yeah, you're right. I mean, I this isn't a gut. I have a pillow in here. It's for my posture.
Well, look at my posture. This is how I hide.
Yeah,
it.
yours is awful.
It's easy. Just do this and gut's gone.
Yeah, but you're sitting like you have no penis. But
Wow.
No, I look like a poet laureate or something.
is that what you look
Yeah.
like? No, you don't.
Okay,
You don't. Look what you're wearing, man.
And
You know what David is? David is the most comfortable human on the planet.
Jay-
Look
I
at how-
agree. I agree.
He's
Look at how
so comfortable.
comfortable he is. He's got a Mr. Rogers sweater on. He's got the Long Beach hoodie, what do you call that, beanie on. And
Head sweater as well.
he's got, the funny thing is he's got workout clothes on. Doesn't work out. Doesn't work out. Ever. But he's
Yes,
got
I
the work.
do.
No, your only workout now is just starving yourself.
no.
I'm just jealous because all of our lives, Soren,
Right.
for at least the past 25 years, I've
Right.
always been smaller than him.
No
He's always
kidding.
been bigger and heavier than me.
Forever.
No kidding.
And yes.
Forever,
Look at that.
For the first time
Look at
in
that.
20 something years, he's looks good in clothing, and I hate it. You don't want to see him
And
naked.
he's obviously
Ever.
Yeah,
perfect.
Yeah, there's a lot of sagging,
Yeah.
a lot of jiggling.
Wow.
But he looks good in clothing, and I don't. I look like, I mean, the buttons on this flannel right now are screaming for help. Right
Yeah.
now.
Nah,
Yeah.
you look fantastic.
Right. But anyway,
Remember when
so
Spider-Man was trying to hold together the stand.
Oh, yeah, right. The subway.
that's my flannel. But I was so happy to wear it because we finally got weather in Long Beach.
Absolutely.
It's been summer up until today.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Literally yesterday in Lakewood, where I live, it was in the 80s again.
That's right.
And I'm so happy to have rain
Yeah.
because now I don't have to water my lawn.
Yeah.
The Lord is doing it for me.
Mad dad.
Yes, I am. So, Soren,
But here's the
real
thing.
quick.
You shouldn't be a mad dad now.
Why?
Because of where we live and how it's cold. It's not really cold. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
what did you used to say? Chill hot.
Oh, yeah. I always say, whenever I say I'm chilling, I always say I'm chilling hot because I live in California. And here's how it came about. I said, man, I'm chilling hard. I said that because I was
Right.
really into being relaxed this one day. And my brother goes, did you just say you're chilling hot? And I thought, yeah, dude,
Yeah, it sounds bad.
I'm chilling hot. And I think all our listeners are chilling hot.
Yeah.
And we chill hot. We have chill hot merch, by the way. Get that. So first of all, introduce yourself and tell us what your background is and what you've been doing.
So I'm a former deputy with Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department.
Mm-hmm.
I was with them for 4 years.
Okay.
I worked a lot of the correctional side of things, Twin Towers Correctional Facility and the CRDF as well.
Jail for the layman.
Yes, that's
What
correct.
do all the letters mean? CDR? What?
Century Regional Detention Facility.
Got it.
Where is that?
That is in Linwood.
Okay. It's not that big one in downtown LA
No, I was there too.
with the skinny windows.
Yes. Fantastic.
Imagine being in one of those cells and wanting to look outside, but you're only kind of looking outside.
Just a tad bit.
You get a
yeah.
sliver. And you get
walk
and their
in
view
there.
and their view is traffic.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
their view
I
is
mean,
traffic.
walking there, it looks like Bowser's Castle. From
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you real quick about that jail. I heard that they're getting
Real
rid of
quick,
it
can I
and build
just
a new
say-
one.
Can I just say that? Did you hear the reference?
Bowser.
That's why we're friends.
I know. Two nerds hanging out
That's right.
just hanging out being nerds. I heard that they're gonna knock that one down and build a new one.
Well, that's what they're saying, but the one across the way, the Men's Central Jail, that's the
Yeah.
one that they were planning on wrecking down.
That's the one with the helicopter sitting on top of it.
That's correct.
Okay,
That's
got it.
right.
I literally, when I go to work to do stand up, I drive right between those two buildings almost
I'm
every
sorry
night.
to hear that.
Yeah, it sucks. And now with the 10 freeway out of commission for a while,
How long is that going to take to get going?
5 to 6 weeks.
They say
They say Newsom said it.
Yeah. Okay.
Another
Well, so
Carmageddon.
then.
Yeah, Newsom said it. So, but which is cool because they were going to say they had to rebuild the whole thing.
Oh.
Now they're saying they could repair what's going on. They could repair it, which is cool because, well, you heard what happened with the businesses underneath burning up.
No. What was that?
So on that part of the freeway is the elevated 10 right there at downtown LA.
Right.
It's between like the 110 and like where you go to the 5 and all that. That
Yes.
one strip that goes right by downtown. Underneath there's businesses. You've seen where they keep car storage and there's a couple of pallet businesses, the wooden shipping pallets. And it turns out they think that it's arson because the company that's underneath there was late on all their bills.
Oh.
They weren't paying their rent. And so they think that it's malicious arson is
The plot thickens.
verbiage.
Huh?
Yeah. So now they're like, these guys are going to get screwed because they thought they were going to get money on that insurance probably. But
Ooh.
now it's just they screwed everybody. It's
That is unfortunate.
and it's us too. Like we have to deal with the commute now, and apparently the streets in downtown LA, they're not equipped to handle that many cars because they're detouring a bunch of cars onto the streets in LA.
Yes.
And those streets are so small that now if those big trucks and everything are going on those streets, that's what's going to cause the potholes and all that crap. So
We landed on metro trains.
Yeah.
So not only that whole freeway is affected, but really everything else around it.
Around
now
it,
because
yeah.
of,
It fucks commerce up. It messes people's work schedules up. It's crazy. That's why I only work 15-minute nights.
right.
Yeah, I love saying that when I'm on stage. I'm at work right now. This is weird. So okay, so you started out and you were in the central jail system and all that stuff. And
Yes, that's correct. Around the the end of 2021, 2022, things started to change a lot within the county. The board of supervisors decided to take away a lot of our funding, which caused a huge hiring freeze.
yeah,
That being said, that caused a lot of the overtime, mandatory overtime that was.
and this is why we don't like the
Mandatory.
idea of defunding the police, right?
Yeah, when I first heard that concept, not me going into law enforcement, I was never really into politics, right?
Okay.
Never really cared about it. Once
Right.
getting into law enforcement and looking at the ramifications and consequences of particular political choices, you see firsthand what's going on, not only within the facilities, but also on the streets with the populace. You see it with the citizens. You see it with all of the Los Angeles people there and how it affects them.
Right.
People away from it don't really understand. And with the defunding of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, it really made not only a dent within the Sheriff's Department, but also LA County as well. Everyone else gets affected from it.
Right. See, as John Q. Public, we only see what's given to us by the media.
That's correct.
And so when a guy like somebody like me goes, we see like a video of police brutality and they immediately go, defund the police.
That's correct, right?
I've always thought, why? Here's why, because I'm like, well, if you defund them, that's less money that goes into training. That's less money that goes into
That's correct.
blah, 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 something. And that doesn't make sense to defund them. I feel like if you defund them, it's going to cause anarchy,
That's correct. And it's slowly kind of heading down that direction. I mean, if anyone that kind of walks down downtown Los Angeles at any particular time, you're immediately reminded of like, wow, this is the new age Gotham City now.
Right.
I mean, you have just crime everywhere.
Yeah.
You look at the television, nothing but grab and runners, people getting assaulted out there.
And that stuff is all over the news and social media right now. People and it's insane because correct me if I'm wrong, but there's certain rules in place with retail stores and places that there's like 10 points of something that they have to do in order for you to be able to stop them from stealing or something.
That's correct. It's actually 5 points.
Okay.
Normally, someone has to, if there's a security guard working there or manager or whoever, anyone that's undercover, they have to see them enter the particular area. They have to see them grab the items. They have to establish the intent behind stealing the actual item and then exit and failure to pay. But by the time all of those steps are implemented, it happens within the matter of seconds, and they're gone. The car's waiting for them already, or maybe somebody's there to strong arm whoever's there. And
When my father was still around, he was a security officer for an establishment. He said that they had those points, and he said, and it got to the point where like they could literally take an item out of the store, walk out with it on top of their head, and if they didn't hit the 5 points, you can't do anything.
that's correct. It's
That's
all about
insane.
liability, and if
Yeah, we live in very litigious times.
that's correct.
You know,
I
the
agree
fact that
with
the
you.
crook can sue the establishment that they're stealing from because they got hurt in the process is insane.
Yeah, and they get away with it too.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
insane part. Yes.
So yeah, back to it. So you were the department that you were in after jails and all that. You said we were dealing with the defunding and all.
Yeah. So I mean, prior to all that, fantastic. It was great. There was we were working just fine. Now, when people kind of say, "Oh, well, I mean, isn't overtime a choice?" Not really.
See, I didn't know that. I thought it was.
That's correct.
I thought it was a luxury for the sheriff's department. I mean, I remember
No.
I grew up with some guys that became sheriff's deputies, and next thing you know, they're buying boats and
Right.
and jet skis and stuff, and they were like, "This overtime is," and I'm like, "Oh,
So there's always when prior to the defunding thing and prior to the board of supervisors, taking away the funds, you do have the option to sign up for overtime. And back then, normally, if they had the hours to give to overtime, they'll be like more than happy to give it to you, and then you work your overtime. But then again, you have ample time to rest. Now, mandatory overtime means, oh, you think you have like I don't know, let's just say a 5-day work week, 8-hour shift. No, we're talking about anywhere from like 16, 18 hours a day, every day, even on your days off. Sometimes that 18-hour gets stretched over to like 24 hours.
Yeah.
There's been numerous times where you don't even see the sun. You go into a facility,
Yeah.
it gets dark, you leave when it's dark, you sleep in your car because you have to be back within a matter of 4 or 5 hours.
and this is mandatory."
This is mandatory.
Wow.
This
And this
is
isn't a desk job.
no.
You're seeing some crazy, stressful stuff.
Well,
on a
once
daily
you
basis.
walk into a particular facility or unit of assignment, your adrenaline starts to pump. You get into character, right? Obviously, you put on your uniform, you get all your tools ready. You go in
So
there.
it's not a costume.
Yeah, it's not a costume.
I'm joking.
Yeah, right. You go in, and the minute you enter the facility, those doors shut behind you, and you're in it now.
Yeah.
Now you're in that concrete
Yeah.
jungle, and you have to deal with a myriad of different types
No.
of people, including some of them are your partners. Your partners sometimes, they're very difficult to work with. So your adrenaline is continuously pumping. A lot of cortisol is going through your system. By the time you're done with that, you're just completely and utterly exhausted.
And
So,
then you have to go to sleep for only 3 hours and get up and
if you're lucky, you'll get that. If you're lucky,
What did you say going through your system?
cortisol.
Can you explain that to Jason so he knows what?
Oh, I went to high school with her.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's just a stress hormone. You're
Okay, right.
yeah. Whenever you stress out a lot, you release a lot of cortisol.
And then therein lies the issue of how could you not have, clinical depression? How can you not be stressed out? And it's amazing.
So the issue when it comes to, and this not only spans within the sheriff's department, but this also goes into and bleeds into our brothers and sisters in the fire department,
Right.
probation, even our nurses and clinical workers. They have it hard as well because of the particular defunding. You
So when they said defund, they did it.
That's correct. Yes.
Huh.
Yeah. So then I guess the next question is, so where did the rest of the money?
Where did that money go? Right.
Well, I mean, you could go ahead and check the news. A lot of the particular BLM protesters and the ones that were really in charge are all living in $1 million homes.
Mm.
A lot of that went towards them. Kind of seems like a lot of people now are suffering from those particular choices that were made at that particular time,
Yeah,
and are starting to see the ramifications and
See, that's-
consequences of that.
that's what people don't think about.
No.
They think about what's just right in front of their nose. This is the thing we need fixed, but you have to understand, they don't understand that there's a whole the ramifications, how this affects that, and then how this thing affects that thing, and so on.
Yeah.
So people, they feel that they're doing the right thing, and they feel that they're fighting for the right thing, but maybe they just don't quite understand how deep it goes.
That's correct. I think a lot of it has to do with a lack of education pertaining to what's going
Right.
on. Also, where those funds are being allocated, and also what exactly do the first responders do? What are they responsible of? And how do these first responders, not only sheriff's department, but again, the fire department, everybody else,
Right? Paramedics. everything.
exactly, how does that affect the public and the
Mhm.
populace? It's all a giant symbiotic circle. If one thing is busted down, it will fall apart.
Mm.
It's like the weakest link in the chain,
Yeah.
right? It just changes its integrity completely. And what you're seeing out there in the news right now, not only with the grab and runners and everything else, but also the amounts of mass that are going on within the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, it's all encompasses everything. It
That's
all
what I
goes
wanted to
together.
get to next. Was this like a week ago, right?
I think up to date right now, we're at a total of 9 or 10 deputies that have, Los
Ended their
Angeles County
lives.
personnel. Yes, that's correct. That have taken their lives.
Self-inflicted.
That's correct.
And
That's the most in history.
yeah.
In history.
And you said there were 5 in a row consecutively and one day
within
after
allotted within a couple days of yes, that's
and
correct.
like again, like for guys like me, that's just like I said, John Q. Public or whatever, like layman. A lot of people in my position are gonna go, "Ooh, what's the conspiracy here?" And we don't.
Right.
And I'm gonna be honest. My first thought was like, "All these guys found out something they shouldn't know," or blah blah blah. And then, but again, I don't think about immediately. Now I do because I'm so glad that we talked. What those guys go through and see on a daily basis. And we talked earlier about it doesn't just end on the job when they go home.
So
It's in a whole
I'll paint
nother-
a particular picture for you of like any given day of one of my partners.
Okay.
My partners will go in and they would maybe start their day at 4 a.m. Right?
What does that
They
even
won't
look
work. They'll work all the way through, until like maybe 10 p.m.
See, 4 a.m., 4 in the morning till 10 p.m. at night.
That's right. No sun, right? So you're just there. You're handling business. On top of that, you have an abundance of particular people and inmates and patients that you're dealing with,
Mm-hmm.
and they're continuously getting at you. They're continuously trying to find weak points about you. They're continuously analyzing you.
This is within the department.
This is within the department. This is
Okay.
actually the people that are inside incarcerated.
And at this point, we're not even talking about people in the street that you're having to deal with.
Not
Yeah.
yet, no. And then
That's-
you're dealing with that. By the time the day is done, your adrenaline has been pumping continuously the entire day. The entire day.
Mm.
A lot of these partners that I have, they'll go home if they can and go to their
Now,
families.
explain that, because you were saying earlier too that a lot of these guys don't even live near there. So when they're working these consecutive hours, they don't even have time to go to their houses.
They don't. So what we'll do is a lot of us, if obviously I will work in Los Angeles, come back to Orange County. Some of my partners will go live in San Bernardino County, Riverside County, maybe even further than that.
Right.
I had a partner that actually lived all the way in Nevada, actually, and would
Whoa.
work in Los Angeles County and won't go home for the entire week until his shift possibly will be done. And again, this is obviously prior to the defunding. Now that the defunding is there, he won't see his family for like months at a time until maybe, if he's lucky, there'll be a break in or like a break in his schedule.
Yeah.
And
The
then
average
he's able
person
to-
doesn't take that into consideration.
No.
Like I can't imagine not seeing my family for multiple weeks in a row. I've done it because I've toured on the road, but it's like temporary.
Right.
Like I was gone for 6 weeks, but now I'm home for the rest of the year.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whereas this is, and explain how sometimes they sleep. You were telling us.
So a lot of us will, if we're gonna go ahead and work the next day, right? So we get out of here at 10. By the time you try to wind down, it's already like maybe if you're lucky, like an hour, 2 hours, and then you could possibly get some sleep. What we'll do is we'll get into the parking lot where we'll park our vehicles, we'll corral, and we'll just sleep in our vehicles and for maybe 3 hours. And
Oh
then
my
sometimes we don't even take off our uniform. We'll just sleep.
And
and
that
we'll
is not a comfortable bed.
Absolutely
Yeah.
not. No.
Especially when you still got your gear on. And,
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And
And
then
you
we
got a
just go
vest
back.
underneath.
Probably go
Or
through
on
so
top
many
of
of
them.
those trees, those
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
rear mirror Christmas trees because of the smell.
Yeah, that goes a lot. That's right.
Oh yeah. Get air fresheners in them
Yeah.
bad boys. I've
Oh,
been in
yeah.
a few of those cruisers. Not good smells.
Right.
Not good
Right.
smells. Very interesting, unexplainable stains.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So
Oh, wow.
that's how normally we'll sleep and then hit it back again. And it's again it's just a giant loop. Giant loop.
Man.
And so then you have issues, and then you're starting to feel depressed.
So like let's say that the majority of us are depressed or have the anxiety.
What do you do? What can you?
So there's no way, and this is now getting into like the culture. particular first responders, especially that of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. You don't say you're depressed. You never say those words. You never say, like, I'm having a hard time. I'm doing this. Now, within maybe partners that we trust, yes, we could talk about it.
See, the generation that I grew up in, we're the last generation that we're that way. You bury it.
Right.
Yeah.
But we have options. We have resources that, like, my wife can go, "What's up, dude?" And then, but in this situation, you don't.
So in this particular situation, if you speak up and say anything pertaining to your health, that will be met with retaliation. There was a particular time when
What kind? Yeah.
So there was a particular time when I went ahead and I was having high depression from it, working all these hours, all these mandatory hours.
Mhm.
I was getting a lot of issues from sergeants and all this nonsense, and then on top of that, just the day-to-day stuff that we'll deal with within the facility, right? Went ahead and presented a particular document that stated Deputy Prime cannot work a graveyard shift or cannot work a particular shift due to the medication that he's taking for X, Y, and Z, meaning depression.
So not medication for physical ailments,
No,
mental ailments.
that's
Right.
correct, for depression.
Hmm.
They literally, meaning the scheduling team at Twin Towers Correctional Facility, said, well, you signed up for the job. If you can't work this hours, you can't be a deputy.
It's like that whole thing. You know what you signed up for.
Exactly. Common thing that said.
Suck it up.
Yeah, exactly. Suck it up.
Wow.
So it doesn't stop there. If you say, well, that's not right, I'm going to go talk to whoever, a sergeant or a lieutenant.
Try to go up a level.
That's correct. You will be met with retaliation immediately. They would purposely change your schedule to maybe even give you more hours. Maybe you requested Thanksgiving day off, or let's just take the holiday out. Let's just say you requested a Friday off maybe months ago because you want to go see grandma wherever.
Right.
Guess who's working that shift? You're working that shift now, a full 18-hour shift.
After you reported that you needed.
Exactly.
So now when you went to level up, now you don't have this guy, putting up barriers. It's the first guy and this guy.
That's correct.
And if you go to a third guy, now you got all these guys
That's correct.
holding you. Wow.
So now now you just added all that stress onto yourself, right?
Mhm.
Because now you're walking into a facility and you don't know what they're going to come at you for. Now you've really done it, and why?
You got like
Because
a
you spoke
target
up.
on you now.
Exactly. And that, again, that is predominant. That is predominant within that facility, but it's also around just everywhere as far as a first responder is concerned. Again, police, sheriff, fire department, probation, even our
So-
medical staff.
So this isn't an isolated incident or a rare occurrence. This is the culture.
This is the culture.
Wow. And then we wonder why, as citizens, why is this, like, sometimes you run into an officer on the street, you're like, why is this guy so angry all of a sudden? As soon as he comes up to me, now you're like, oh, this guy's pissed.
Yes,
And it might not have anything to do with me.
that's right.
So that needs to be, how do you fix something like that?
Well,
Awareness, obviously.
awareness is a big thing, yes.
Yeah.
But the number one question, I guess, that I would get approached with and asked is, how did it come to this?
Mm.
Who's at fault? Well, there's many layers to that. You have, again, going back to the Board of Supervisors defunding everything and taking away the money from Villanueva, to all the way to who's in charge now and what are they doing? Sheriff Luna is obviously sheriff at the moment.
That's who's in charge now.
That he's big shot. He's the sheriff right now.
Okay.
And Sheriff Luna has clearly stated on multiple occasions, one of which to Fox 11 News, stating that mental health is for his deputies, that is one of his top priorities. However, what is he actively doing to help them out? If he stated on the news that if any of my deputies have a particular issue, psychological wise, emotional wise, just to go on this app and ask for help.
There's an app for that.
Yeah, right. There's through our
Wow.
psychological bureau. Now let's just say we do that. Because I did.
Mm-hmm.
I went to psychological bureau. Did it help out? Yes, absolutely. There was a doctor there. Dr. Kim, amazing. She helped me out so much. However, You could talk to whoever you like about your particular issues or why you're feeling this way, but that still leaves the actual problem of the abundance of overtime that my partners are working.
There's no fix.
There's no fix.
I mean, there is something to say about talking about it and getting it off your chest. That's one thing.
Right.
But then what? It's just the circle now. So I talked about it, and now I'm going to go get the problem again. So I guess I'll be back in a little while to talk about it again.
That's correct. And it
There's
just
no-
keeps going,
no
and keeps
fixing.
going, and keeps
Wow.
going. You know, and who pays for
Wow,
that?
that's rough,
really,
man.
you know, you have, yes, of course. Again, let's just go back to, you know, we signed up for it. Okay. Let's just give people that. We signed up for it.
But the thing is, real quick,
Yes.
when you see the advertisements to become a police officer, they make it look amazing.
Oh, that's why I
So-
signed up.
That's why you say, "Oh, actually, I didn't know what I signed up for."
That's right.
Wow.
You
That's
thought
right.
you did.
Yeah, I thought I did. Right.
Whoa.
But then again, who gets affected with it? Again, going back to the public, the citizens, you know,
Yep.
their family members get affected. And then a lot of my partners, if, you know, they're getting a lot of heat from their own superiors, from their own partners at work, 18 hours, 20 hours a day, almost every day. And then you go home and then your family is like, dude, where have you been this whole
Yeah,
time? And
they're
then
mad because you've
they're
been
upset.
gone, and you come home in a bad mood.
Yes.
Don't leave. Hey, leave your work at work, but also where the hell have you been? Oh my God.
That's correct.
So you have no safe space.
There's no exit for some.
Wow. So
I guess another question will come up. Well, why don't you just transfer? Well, it's just not that easy. You can't just say like, hey, I think I'm gonna go work across the way or go work for another agency.
right.
A lot of the times, if you even ask to transfer, they'll purposely deny the process for months, sometimes even years. So you're
Just
and
to
then
keep you in the same spot.
for them to know that you want to leave, oh my God, you just shot yourself in the foot. If your administration finds out that you want a lateral, they will give you the hardest time. Going
Wow.
back to scheduling, they will make sure that your life is miserable.
Work you like a freaking slave almost.
That's correct.
Because you also, isn't there a time in your career when you're doing a lot of work that you're not getting paid for, like hourly or?
That's correct. So normally the culture goes, if you go, a lot of my partners would venture off onto a particular patrol unit, you know, wherever they're going to go, whatever station they're going to go and do patrol. They don't want to work in the facility anymore. Let's just go work on patrol. Part of the culture there is you work until we tell you not to work,
Hmm.
right? And they'll purposely push your buttons to see how much you can take and how much metal you have, right?
Mm.
On top of that, they'll push your buttons to right. On top of that, they'll push their buttons to see if you're willing to go along with the games that they're playing, right?
Hmm.
So that will encompass a lot of the times you'll go thinking that you're going to work maybe an 8, 9, 10-hour shift. No, they'll keep you for like 24 hours, but you're not getting paid for those 24 hours. You'll get paid for maybe like that particular shift that you're working. And God forbid you say something, because you're going to
Yeah.
get it if you do.
So another question I would have to whoever is, why are those upper guys treating you that way if they hadn't gone through the same crap themselves at one point?
That is a question that really I pondered upon a lot, and I don't understand.
What is the point?
But it's so when I approached one sergeant in confidence and I said, sir, I'm being met with all this retaliation. I'm being treated like this. I'm being treated like that. I don't understand. I'm doing a good job. Yeah, of course I made some mistakes, but whatever deputy doesn't, right?
Yeah.
But we're doing a good job. What can I do in this particular situation? Why are these other sergeants treating our deputies that way? The number one thing they say is because they want to promote.
Mm,
Imagine if you're a sergeant and you want to be a lieutenant.
right.
In order for you to be promoted, you have to write up certain amounts of deputies.
There's like a quota?
Yeah. there you
Holy
go.
shit.
You have to write up certain amount of deputies
So
to be
in order to promote, I got to be a bully.
to be a lieutenant. Now you ask, well, now why is that? That doesn't make sense. Well, it kind of shows to them, meaning the department, that you're actively trying to clean up.
Weed out the bad. I got it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now, oh, you did a good job. You got X, Y, and Z out. Here's your new position in the
Wow.
department.
And for all we know, X, Y, and Z that we got out because they were having some major
issues
Mental
or mental
issues.
issues, medical issues, regardless. Yes.
Wow, that doesn't sound like job security to me.
No.
Ooh,
And a lot of us have worked, especially I have partners that have tried for years to be a cop or work for the department. And you get that whole mentality that, especially me, I worked really hard to get into the department. It's not easy. You
Mm.
got to be physically fit. You got to obviously have your background in good standing. You have to pass all these exams just to be considered as a possible candidate.
wow.
Now, once you get into the academy, and then of course, there's multiple exams you got to go through, multiple training.
Mm.
So a lot of us have worked so hard, dedicated our lives to the department.
Right.
One quick story with the academy. The academy was fantastic. The academy for me, yes, I struggled a lot, and I man, did I get it good in the academy? But it was amazing, and it was something that really taught me a lot.
Why did you get
So,
it good? What were they doing here? Were they?
well, I was really the subject of conversation a lot. I had, my tattoos and stuff. I come from an MMA background, so they were continuously trying to test to see my patience, to see if I'm going to blow up or not.
They never said anything about your height.
Uh, no, not yet.
What?
At least not to me.
This little guy's amazing.
Yeah, right. But it was amazing. It was my drill instructors were amazing. I really owe them a lot.
That's awesome.
However, one thing that really stood out was when we're signing documents, right? Just in case something happens, we have to sign a document and put the next of kin. At that time, I had nobody to write down. I go, if something happens to me, my money's just gonna go to the county. I don't know. I have nothing to write down. So in front of the entire class, this particular person in the HR department pulled me aside and said, Prime, why don't you put something down? Put something down. Like, you what? You don't have a family? I go, no, I don't.
Mm.
There's no one for me to give my money. And the next thing that she said really resonated with me. She said, well, you know what? You're part of a different family now. We'll take care of you. How could I not?
Right. That
I
would have
mean,
been like, oh,
that really hit me
I'm
hard.
home.
I was
Right.
like, yes, I did feel like I was part of a family finally,
And how long did it take you to figure out that was not the case? If
I want to say just literally upon completing the academy and getting into the facility, I knew.
when you say
Really-
the facility, you're talking about the jails.
I'm talking about the jails. Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay.
The jails, Twin Tower Correctional Facility. I knew right away that that wasn't the case. There was certain deputies out to get other deputies. The way we didn't really get along. There was really no family
You
anything.
didn't feel any
there.
camaraderie or anything.
The
like that.
only time, though, however, is you have there is numerous, if not thousands, of amazing deputies there that swore their oath and are upholding it.
Mhm.
And we come together and we notice that, look at all this nonsense that's going on right now. How could you not bond with someone like that?
Right.
And then that's when that is the family there. But as far as the department treating you like your family member, absolutely not. You're just a number, and a very replaceable number. They'll make sure that you're just a number. And that goes for
Yeah.
all first responders.
You think about kids when they're children, they want to be a police officer. They're like, I want to fight crime. I don't want to get the bad guy. And then you feel like it's from what you're saying, it sounds like once you get into this organization, you're fighting the organization. You're dealing with those guys too,
That's correct.
as well as, wait a minute, I got this to get the bad guy.
That's correct. I do
Wow.
get approached a lot about a lot of men and women will come up to me and they want to be in law enforcement, and they'll say like, what can I do? What do you think about law enforcement? I would never tell anybody not to pursue their dreams.
Right.
It is something, if they want to do it, by all means, because I did.
Yeah.
I had to do it, right? But they definitely have to be aware that once they step into this,
Especially such a huge organization.
especially that
Maybe you
huge
just tell them,
organization.
go to Mayberry. Just be the local.
Yes, yes,
You know,
exactly. I
yeah.
just tell them like, hey, you know what? Why don't you try this agency instead?
Yeah.
They really treat their people better. For example, Orange County Sheriff's Department, they treat their people amazingly.
Okay.
I mean, it's amazing there. Now, other deputies know that. So imagine deputies in Los Angeles trying to lateral over to Orange County.
Oh, they're going to get in trouble.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
You know what also hit me when you said once you're in, you feel like you're part of that system when you're in the facility, the jails.
Yeah.
A buddy of ours that we grew up with from young age, he eventually became a corrections officer. And
Oh.
he was at Pelican Bay in the shoe.
Oh.
And he told me, he's like, you feel like an inmate. You feel like one of the inmates.
So
Yeah.
about that, once you do get inside, you are loaded with particular responsibility.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that, again, there's people in there. I mean, I've met some real monsters inside. I mean, I just, it blows me away when I see what they did or why they're there or even how they act inside. You're like, wow, how on earth is this even? This is like, you're legitimately like out of a comic book. That's how evil you are.
Mm.
But then there's also some just made a simple mistake.
And
You
they're
know-
locked up in there with those guys.
Exactly. So it's so hard to kind of wean them out, to kind of make sure like who's who and what's what. So you're in there with them as well. You're watching them as they maybe struggle with life. You know, some of the times the people that made small mistakes are in there and they're incarcerated, and all they want to do is speak to their family and they can't. And you see them how they break down and how,
Ooh.
and that hits you hard because anyone, I don't care what anybody says, if you sign up to be a police officer, you do have passion for people.
Yeah.
You do no matter what.
Okay.
You may hide it well. You may
Right.
hide it, but you're not gonna. And you're definitely not gonna show it. But it will hit you eventually to see all these people. So
What if you just really like wearing khaki?
yeah, right.
Another thing I noticed and I just thought of this story when you were talking about people in there for small things in there with monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the guy you got your Acura from?
Yes.
So this guy got locked up.
I was like,
And it was,
like 1990.
well,
Yeah.
here's what it was. It was an overcorrection because it was just after the Rodney King riots. And everybody was saying that the department was racist. You only don't come after black guys.
Mm.
So my buddy was driving during the riots trying to get home.
Okay.
And a guy came up to his car like threatening, and he picked his phone up and said, "I'll call the police." That guy called the police and said he was holding a gun.
Oh.
So they go to his house and they find that he does have a gun, and they arrested him. And he was literally just fearing for his life. They arrested this guy, was the sweetest not street guy ever. And now he's in jail with some killers.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
That-
It ruined his life.
So you see my point. So there's so that particular situation, obviously, that is a horrible situation. Someone dropped the ball there for sure.
Yeah.
And that is horrible. There's no way, obviously, that that particular person is going to have that time back. And that's horrible.
Yeah.
And that's something that should have never taken place. But see, that's the thing, is that you're in there and you're watching these people suffer. Some of them, like I said, simple mistakes. Some of them, yes, of course. Everyone that goes there, you ask them what happened, they will always say the same thing. I'm innocent.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
right.
Everybody's innocent.
But and yes, I could strongly believe that there are some that are innocent in there. Yes, I strongly believe that.
I mean, we see it every day on documentaries and stuff like that. People getting released that were in there for no reason and all that stuff. So
That's
yeah,
right. That's
it
right.
exists. Yeah.
So you're watching them how they suffer, and it does take a toll. Again, and this is not only for just the deputies there, the medical staff as well. The medical staff there gets the same amount of treatment, if not even worse sometimes.
That's incredible. So one of the main reasons we had you on is because you did go on local news. You went on, was it Fox 11?
Fox 11 News.
And you talked to them and you brought up the issues, but they edited a lot of stuff out.
They did, and definitely, God bless the reporters. She amazing woman.
Was
I
it?
don't. It wasn't obviously, it had nothing to do with whatever she had to do, but there's always time restraints and
Oh,
there's
yeah.
editing. But what I had to say, every single thing is important, and yeah.
What, for example, was something that got edited out that you wanted to say?
So one particular thing that was asked was, which a lot of your viewers or maybe just people in Los Angeles would want to know, is whose fault is it? And then
Right.
what is the remedy, right? There's many layers to that as far as whose fault it is, because we could talk about that all day. But it all spawned from the Board of Supervisors at that particular time completely and utterly taking away the funds from Sheriff Villanueva, who was fighting for his deputies,
Mhm.
took away those funds, and now we can't recruit more people. So there's always deputies leaving back and forth. Some are retiring, some have to leave or lateral. So there's always like this flux of
Mhm.
deputies. And imagine not being able to hire more sworn personnel or just personnel in general. Now you're stuck with the particular people who are already in there covering those hours. So that was one particular thing I wanted to get across is as far as whose fault it was, definitely the board of supervisors. However, now that we're away, now it's a couple years from that particular time.
Mhm.
What is there? Who's at fault now? Now I normally don't point fingers, but I'll definitely point fingers to the current sheriff Luna at the moment because he clearly stated that he's there to assist the deputies. He's there to help out, but there hasn't been anything.
And he's
Where's the
sending you
help?
to an app.
That's correct.
Yeah.
My partners are still suffering. I get phone calls on a daily basis of my deputies, my partners crying, saying they don't know what to do. They're saying like, Prime, this is my 9th day working.
Whoa.
I don't know what to do. I can't like, okay, can you please speak for us? And of course, they don't have a voice. No one, the general consensus in law enforcement, if you say anything whatsoever pertaining to something like that,
Yeah.
you will get retaliated against. Some of my partners, you got the ages from 20 to like up above 40. The 20-year-olds, of course, they're not going to say anything. They have a whole long career ahead of them. Why would they even say anything?
And the scary part is for the citizens is, this guy's calling you and said, I've got 9, whatever, and he's stressed and he's upset and he's sad. Our fear is that going to be taken out on a citizen?
That is the
And-
number one fear. Yes,
and
that's
you
correct.
can't, it's like, yeah, you can blame him, but you also, it wasn't for, this guy's not just some, in other words, I used to think before I got enlightened by all this, why are these police departments and sheriff's departments hiring so many fucking crazy guys with bad tempers?
Right.
But now I'm like, oh, maybe they didn't show up that way. And now they're super stressed out
That's correct.
and you guys are literally ordered to fucking bury it.
That's correct. Yeah.
And when you bury something, I've said this before, it's gonna overflow. It's gonna bubble up and explode. And who knows in which way?
I think the one
Me, it's cheeseburgers.
Yeah. I believe the one safe thing to say about that is, no matter how hard we try, we're not RoboCop, right? We're
Right.
not machines.
Exactly. All of us are we're humans.
We're human beings, and
For now.
that is right. And that is something that, yes, it's not an excuse, but it is a reason for the majority of people, especially certain people in law enforcement and first responders, to act a certain way. They may or may not be all smiles and happy to see you
Right.
because of this particular issue. A lot of the good deputies that are there, a lot of them, because there's thousands, a lot of them, yes, they'll have that particular mentality. To answer your question, they have that particular mentality. They have all these emotions. However, they would never, ever act like that towards somebody in the public because, again, the training that we have received in the academy, we're there to serve and protect and to help out.
Mm.
However, I was in a particular class of 99 recruits.
Hmm.
I believe we graduated with maybe 85. So a lot of people fell out due to maybe failing exams or getting injured, unfortunately, or just leaving just in general because it was just too much for them, which I don't blame them, right?
Right.
However, ever so often, you do get those jerks in there that come in with their hubris and their posturing and like I'm gonna be
Power tripping too.
power
yeah.
tripping. That's exactly right. Now, that small percentage, upon completion of the academy, and you give that guy a badge, he just doesn't magically turn into the nicest cop ever. He
Right.
becomes a super jerk
Right.
because now he has a badge. And
Super
those are
bully.
the ones, that's right, those are the ones that definitely not only are dangerous to be around with, but they ruin it for everybody else in the department. Because if
Mhm.
one person does something within our department that's wrong, we all get affected from it.
Really.
Yeah, because we all definitely, this one quote unquote bad cop would do something that obviously is not right. Everyone else sees that. What's the first thing people say? Oh, well, then the entire department is like that. And that is not true.
So your goal then is awareness.
Yes, definitely awareness.
Awareness.
I definitely want people to have this understanding
Yeah.
of what uh, my partners are going through. Not only, again, in the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, but law enforcement in general. That is a giant issue all over the country, all
'Cause
over.
This could turn into a PR thing.
Yes.
Like the department doesn't want to look bad.
No,
So
absolutely.
if the word
not.
gets out, maybe they'll finally go, let's implement a program or something. Because it's weird because almost every business that I've been involved in has some kind of resource, even stand-up comedy. And we're not employees of a company. However, the Laugh Factory is a perfect example. They have they have a therapist that we can go see on site at the Laugh Factory. If we can't afford it, if we don't have insurance, there's someone there for us to talk to.
Right.
And it'd be amazing if they kind of implemented something where you don't have to, first of all, you don't have to be afraid to say, I got this issue, or not, because now I'm going to be hazed for the next however many years, the rest of my career. But they could say, look, we have this resource. Go talk to these people. Not an app. Don't send me to an app.
Now,
Yeah,
are there resources for these guys? If we do have some first responders listening or watching, are there some resources that they can go to yet? Any kind of support
Specifically in the
groups?
sheriff's department.
Well, within the sheriff's department, yes, they have obviously posted
Okay.
Okay.
on a bulletin board or wherever, or like they send it out in an email who you can talk to. Does that assist the situation? Does that help out in any way?
No,
it
here's
does not,
why.
because you're still going back to an issue.
And here's why it doesn't change the culture. That's what needs to change.
Yes,
The culture of being shamed for it, being hazed for it.
the retaliation.
You know what you signed up for. That's what needs to change.
That's right. That's right. There was a time when I wanted to go talk to my my doctor, my therapist. I had to go in there at least twice a week because of the amount of nonsense I was dealing with at that time, and I was working 7 days a week,
Mm.
18-hour shifts. She would call me or text me, "Hey, Prime, where are you?" And I have to cancel. I'm sorry, I can't get in there. I'm working.
Hmm.
So how could I possibly have time to go talk to her? Which she's obviously across she's like miles away on the other side of the county. There's no way.
Okay.
Now let's just say you bring that to someone's attention, like, hey, I need to go. Okay, fine, you'll go. But guess what? Now you're working on your day off because you did that.
See, that's just not cool at all. So,
Man.
what's your goal? Like, what do you think? What's your next move? What do you want to do? Like with this?
I really, again, aside from spreading the awareness, I want to make sure that the particular people that need to be in office are in office, and also that the deputies get the help that they need from a sheriff that actually cares for their deputies, who actually would actively do something as opposed to just sending a repetitious email or saying like, hey, there's an app. Come on. That doesn't help out anybody whatsoever.
Right.
When Alex Villanueva was in office, you could literally talk to him, let him know what's going on.
You talk to him, right?
I talk to him. Yes, I do.
I want to talk to him.
Yeah. I'll see. We'll see. Well,
Where can people find you? Online, socials? How do you?
They could definitely find me on social media. That's one way they could find me.
Do you want to put that out there?
Sure, we could put that out there. If you know anybody in any type of first responder position, or if they just want to talk and they're going through something similar, I could definitely assist them in any way that I can.
What's your socials? Where are you at?
They can find me at Sigma X Prime
On Instagram?
on Instagram. And
Sigma X Prime.
Yeah.
Sounds like a transformer.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost.
Sigma X Prime.
I'm about to transform right now.
Nice. I was just thinking of a solution. I'll be sheriff.
Yeah, well, there you go. We
I'll
need
just
that
be the sheriff.
lightheartedness in the department, you know?
Guys.
You have to dress like one of those little
Dude,
cute
I'll have
Yeah.
casual Fridays. Dude, we'll have chocolate chip cookie Wednesdays. It'll be great.
Pizza party.
Yeah, pizza party. Dude.
Punch and pie.
Yes. Bring your dog to work day. That's
Yeah.
always fun. That's always fun. Dude, thank you so much for coming on, man.
No, thank you
And
very much.
Anytime. If you can think of anything you want to talk about and get out there,
Yes,
if
sir.
something happens between now and the next time, dude, we love it, man. And
No,
you're
thank
also
you very
you're
much.
also the homie. You're I got a question. What
sir.
nationality are you? Me and my brother were trying to guess.
My
transformer. Dude.
yeah, right.
You're a prime?
Yes,
Decepticon, not
my family
Autobot.
originated from Kingston, England, and I'm half Hispanic, so
Okay.
The name Prime is Kingston, England.
I was gonna say that just makes no sense.
Right?
I'm from Kingston, England. Hey, check it out. Orale, check it out for real though. I'm from Kingston. Eh. That's hilarious. So Latino,
I'm hella British. Eh?
so Latino and white.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
correct. That's
Cool,
correct.
cool, cool. Well, man, thanks for coming on.
Thank you
We
very much for
appreciate it.
having me.
And like I said, anytime. This was what a great first guest.
I think that we really hit it off good with the first guest.
I-
I believe this is going to be a tough act to follow.
100%. And I'm not saying we're going to have a guest every time, but now we're going to start having some people on. I got a lot of people hit me up that want to come on. Sometimes comedy friends of mine, actors, directors, whatever, we'll have them on. Again, thank you guys so much. Wait a minute. Thank you guys so much. Solomon, what was that? It's okay. You can tell me. Oh, this one? I'm looking over here. I look like one of those those mall glamour shots. For some reason, they made you not look at the camera. Remember those old pictures where you're like,
Really funny is every time you switched, you would switch
Yeah.
to the other one.
I'm here.
There we
Sorry.
go.
New studio, different room. I'm not used to it.
There we go.
Make sure you continue to rate and review at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, Google Podcasts, wherever it is that you listen or download. And make sure you leave us a 5-star rating and a wonderful review. And it helps us with the algorithms. Tell a friend, like, share, all that stuff. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell on YouTube so you can see our beautiful faces and, of course, Soren's gorgeous body. Thank you guys again so much. Don't forget, we have merchandise. Go to unidenticalpod.com, hit that shop button, and go shopping. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Thanks again. Don't forget, Podcast Place, Long Beach, California. That's the spot. You guys have a good night and day and day and day. Bye.
Unidentical.